As early this morning, officers were called about a dispute on 130th Street. Once they entered the house, there was an explosion. Elijah Westbrook live at the scene in South Ozone Park for us. And we're going to go to this press conference. We'll speak with Elijah shortly after.
Provide you an update about an incident and subsequent explosion that occurred earlier this morning that involved both the response from NYPD and FYND. My colleagues from FDNY will provide you the information regarding the firefighting operations and the remaining ongoing fire operation. But once again this morning, we are reminded of the heroics of our officers and the unforeseen danger they encounter every single day. This information I'm about to provide you is preliminary and is subject to change. At approximately 2:42 a.m., the officers from the 106 precinct respond to a 911 call of a domestic dispute with a knife. The call was placed by a family member of the victim who stated that her male relative arrived at their residence intoxicated and armed with a knife, and there was a smell of gas in the residence. As depicted in security footage from the home, the perpetrator, Amru Parsaram, a 50-year-old male, arrived at the basement apartment where his wife, daughter, and 2 grandchildren reside. The video, he's seen carrying 2 garbage bags filled with canisters containing unknown substance. Mr. Parsaram forced his way into the apartment by pushing the air conditioning unit. Once in the apartment, the daughter and his 2 grandchildren of the victim managed to flee to safety, while Mr. Parsaram began menacing and threatening the remaining victim with a knife. The victim was able to safely get out of the apartment. Officers arrived on the scene shortly thereafter and spoke with the victim outside, who willingly gave them a key to enter the residence in an attempt to locate and apprehend Mr. Parsaram. Our officers were at the front door of the residence attempting to enter when suddenly a massive fiery explosion erupted at 2:57 a.m. The officers were violently, and multiple officers were thrown off their feet, with some being launched into gates at the front of the residence. Even after that, after being injured, several of the officers rushed into the danger. The home was engulfed with fire to help search for residents and others on the floor of the 3-family residence. They were able to locate one person to help move them to safety. Several of the residents were taken to area hospital, and thankfully, all of the individuals who were in the building have been accounted for. All eight of our responding officers were taken to area hospital. They were all treated for minor burns. One officer received laceration to his head and will require stitches. Due to the explosion and the ongoing FDNY activity, the subject, Mr. Parsaram, is currently unaccounted for. Our detectives are on the scene and is continuing the investigation. There are 3 expired order protection against Mr. Parsaram. The most recent one expired in 2024. All 3 of them are filed with one relative who was in the apartment. I want to be clear. We got very lucky today. All right, this could have turned out really differently. Members of the NYPD respond to a call for violence, domestic situation, individual harm with knife. When they got to the door, the dangerous explosion, so powerful, it knocked them off their feet. They stood up, they got up, they ran into the burning home because that's what the job required and that's what they do every day. They run to danger, they do not run away from it. Cops confront these situations every day, not knowing if luck will be on their side. Thankfully, today, luck was on their side. I will now turn it over to FDNY for their update. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Good morning. I'm John Esposito. I'm the Chief of Department. Shortly before 3 a.m. this morning, we received an alarm of fire. We arrived on the scene to find private dwelling heavily involved in fire and several police officers on the scene. We immediately started conducting firefighting operations, stretched hose lines, protected the buildings next door. Due to this amount of fire, we were not able to enter the fire building or conduct any searches. As you can see, it's still an active scene. It's a 5-alarm fire, almost 300 fire and EMS personnel, all over 80 fire and EMS units on the scene. Since we were not able to conduct searches within the building and the building has collapsed, we will start debris removal with our heavy equipment to see if we can account for anybody that might be reported missing. There is damage to the buildings next door. They did not suffer, they did not collapse, but they have serious damage. There are 16 persons displaced so far. We're working with the Red Cross for shelter, and if there's anybody else that is displaced, they can contact the Red Cross, for shelter. It's an ongoing scene. We're going to be here throughout the day as we continue to conduct searches. An extremely dangerous operation for our firefighters. We know that the police officers were on the scene when this exploded, and we're grateful for the great work the NYPD does. We'll take any questions.
All right, folks, we're going to take on-topic Q&A. We're going to start right here with CBS.
Yes, Chief, did the explosion, was it ignited by opening the door?
I don't know that. We were not on scene when the explosion occurred.
Okay. Any other on-topic questions? Glenn Shuck, 1010 Wins.
Chief, are you aware of this home? Have you been called here? And the fact you mentioned the orders of protection, have you responded here for any?
Officers have responded to this location. There's numerous DIR from this location.
Numerous in the past year, for example? Or
Yes.
Do you know how many approximately?
There's numerous.
So they have been called here?
We haven't called yet.
And we're going to move over to WNBC. Rami.
Hi there. Question. When you say that the suspect is unaccounted for, do you believe he's alive and ran away and you can't find him, or do you believe he's potentially in the home? And
He's unaccounted for right now. We're still doing the investigation.
Any other on-topic Q&A? All right, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I'll talk to you offline. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
FDNY will be able to get that.
So you've been listening to this press conference at this 5-alarm fire in South Ozone Park, Queens. It's breaking news that we've been reporting on all morning. You heard some of the topics. 8 police officers who did arrive on the scene, all transported to the hospital, all with non-life-threatening injuries. One officer, I think the worst of it was some stitches, as the one sergeant was saying. But again, no life-threatening injuries, but 8 officers at the hospital. This 5-alarm fire. The suspect, who they are familiar with, and police officers have been at this residence before for other disturbances, is still unaccounted for at this time. You heard the FDNY said they were not able to conduct a search. The house has since collapsed. Over 300 firefighters on the scene. 80 emergency units there on the scene in South Ozone Park, and this will be an active scene for the rest of the day. We'll get to Elijah in a couple of minutes, just after 8:30, to kind of encapsulate what we've heard here the last couple of minutes and also get an update on that scene in South Ozone Park. We're going to move on right now for you, though. A possible transit strike looming for LIRR riders. The MTA and its unions will meet again next week in an attempt to avoid a strike. The sticking point is over pay raises. The MTA has offered 3%, but union leaders are pushing for 5%. Transit leaders say bigger pay raises will mean larger fare increases for trains.